Inflation seems to be the most frequently mentioned economic phenomenon worldwide in recent years. Sri Lanka declared bankruptcy before, and any economic situation in Europe and Argentina deteriorated. Inflation is like an invisible ghost, accompanying it like a shadow. So, what is inflation? Why is it said to be the essence of poverty? 1. Inflation and CPI. Inflation refers to the phenomenon where, under the conditions of currency circularity, the supply of money exceeds the actual demand for money, leading to currency depreciation and causing sustained and widespread price increases over a period of time. The essence of inflation is that the total social supply is less than the total social demand. Simply put, inflation is actually when we spend the same amount of money but are able to purchase fewer goods or services. Of course, it is normal for the market to fluctuate and prices to change often. Simple price fluctuations cannot measure the level of inflation. Therefore, in order to visualize inflation, the National Bureau of Statistics publishes monthly changes in CPI, Consumer Price Index, and PPI, Production Price Index, which are also the most commonly used indicators in China to measure inflation levels. Among them, the closest index to our daily life is CPI. It reflects the changes in the price level of consumer goods and services generally purchased by households, covering various types of goods and services such as clothing, food, housing, transportation, entertainment, tourism, shopping, education, medical care, etc. By contrast, PPI is only an indicator that measures the trend and degree of changes in factory prices of industrial enterprises, usually from the perspective of producers. Our perception of it in daily life is not as close as CPI. 2. The causes of inflation. As a complex economic phenomenon, the causes of inflation are also very diverse, although it cannot be simply attributed to a certain category of reasons. In general, we can divide the causes of inflation into two categories, direct and indirect. 1. Direct cause. The direct cause of inflation is very simple, even written in its definition, which is an excessive money supply that exceeds market demand. 2. Indirect causes. Compared to direct causes, the indirect causes of inflation are much more complex. Firstly, a significant increase in demand may lead to inflation, which means that too much currency is chasing too little goods. Secondly, changes in the supply side can also lead to inflation, which is also known as supply inflation, and it is often caused by changes in production costs, including rising labor costs and increased profits. Finally, there are macro reasons, including economic system, improper future expectations, and structural imbalances in the national production sector. In this part of the region, the imbalance of production structure can lead to excessive differences in market supply and demand, and being too pessimistic about the future inflation trend often leads to people taking actions such as hoarding, making the inflation situation worse. 3. The consequences of inflation. After discussing key causes of inflation, let's finally talk about the consequences of inflation. When we invest in every aspect of life, we feel that the money in our hands is becoming less and less valuable.